Run, Devil Man!
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Playmaker, Farmer will put it up, throws over the middle. Poole, touchdown. Quick flag.
Third down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. This team this year. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025.
Today. This one the other way. Still going back. That's the drag. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out.
Yes, there we are. Oh, apologies, my bad. Welcome in to Thirsty Thursdays edition of Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratinuto at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. You guys know that. Check out our show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also, my IG, as you know, the beautiful, good old Instagram. You can check the show live out there at michael.caratinuto.5. Yes, I know you guys know. Just throwing it out there. And I also know you guys know this. Live out there at michael.caratinuto. The YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, watch live. Yes, it is a great thing. You can watch the show live on YouTube. Go there, watch live. And then, right, hold on. Then, subscribe to the channel while you're there, because anything that you have missed out on, season 1, season 2, now we're rolling into season 3 here seamlessly. And guess what? Anything you may have missed, you can just subscribe and binge watch. So you would, keep watching season 3. Don't stop, because like I said, when we get interviews, we have coaches and players on, whoever you can, their conversations, they kind of just keep moving along. And yeah, I mean, there's obviously talking about the team, and everything, but you can subscribe to the channel, and you can get your all caught up. So you binge watch season 1 and season 2, keep watching season 3, you'll get caught up. Bam! Absolutely awesome, phenomenal way to go. So go to YouTube. You know how to get to YouTube. You see my name, Michael Caratinuto, but the page is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube. And guys, subscribe, because again, you have missed a plethora of phenomenal con reviews. Just so you know, you have definitely missed a plethora of them. Yes. And so, yeah, you can go back and again, check it all out. But I mean, and when I say a plethora of con reviews, and for those who are new to the show, it's an interview, yes, because for my show, but it's a conversation. Get to know, a lot of these coaches and players, met them, talked to them, known them for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, so you've missed a ton of those. So whether it be, again, coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum, a phenomenal athletic director who will be on the show next week. Yes, I know I keep telling you, but again, the schedule's got to match up, and it's we're going to get Graham Rossini on next week. Again, it's just done a phenomenal job, and yeah, it's done some cool stuff too. You're going to get to hear about some new stuff. I'll just leave it at that. But yes, you can subscribe to the channel, watch live. I suggest it, but subscribe anyway. And for the few newer people that have subscribed, forks up, man, keep it going. And again, anything you want, send me a message. Send me a message, because I might, if there's anything I'm missing or anything like that. Yeah, just so yeah, I mean, just again, hit me up. You can hit me up on the, at Diablo00 on X. Always a shout out to Prince, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. Michael.Caratinuto5 on IG, the YouTube. Again, send me a message, anything that I might not be thinking of, I'm talking about. Feel free to share with me. So that in and of itself, my friends, absolutely awesome. But yeah, so go to the YouTube again. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC 005 on YouTube. All right, well, let's get to it today, guys, because look, Big 12 play rolling on with women's soccer, as you know. Yes, they are taking on Oklahoma State tonight at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium, and it is at 7. Football's at 6 tomorrow. This is at 7, right? Yes, 7 p.m. See, I did get that right. You guys are probably saying, I would hope you do it. You know me. Sometimes I've said games have started later than they do, and more often than not, though, the few times I did mess up, I went the other way. I said it started earlier. Would have got you there way earlier. So, nonetheless, yeah, and we'll talk about that. But Oklahoma State, they are 0-1 in the Big 12. They are 4-4-1 overall. Are the Cowgirls, women's soccer? But yeah, they are 4-4-1 overall. And they have. Let's see, who have they lost to? They took on. Oh, they lost to Kansas 1. I mean, a close game in Stillwater. They lost 1-0. But yeah, so far this season, let's see, they have they beat Mercer to open their season 2-0. They were at Oklahoma and they lost 4-1 to the Sooners. Then they tied Nebraska at 1 apiece. Took on Arkansas State in Stillwater and they won that game 3-2. They were at Rice and they lost 3-2 to Rice. Throughout the years, has had a pretty good women's soccer team. And then Mississippi State, they took on Mississippi State in Stillwater and lost 1-0. They were at Oral Roberts and won 1-0. And then they took on East Texas A&M and they won 5-1 there. And then they took on, like I said, Kansas in their first Big 12 game, lost 1-0. And now they head to Tempe, and then they will head down to Tucson to take on that team down south on Sunday. So, yes, that's what they have. But, yeah, so that's where they're at. Again, 4-4-1. I'll get into players, who their leaders are in a little bit. But nonetheless, guys, get on out there tonight if you can. Again, 7 p.m., Sun Devil Soccer Stadium. It's beautiful out after the sun goes down anyway. I mean, it's and this team, and we heard from from Faz, from Lucy, saying, what else do you want us to do? We win. We haven't lost. So, but no, it was a great crowd against BYU. Obviously, again, the other side to that is BYU brings out a crowd where they go. They have huge, in Arizona, they've had huge road support, but no matter what sport, even last year for that insane football game, you saw the good amount of blue in the stadium. Now, yes, it was still more maroon and gold, but again, BYU will always travel. They get the 2-1 win. They beat number 10, absolutely money, and now they're taking on Oklahoma State again, who's struggling, but Coach Winkworth will not let his team look past anybody. And then Sunday, they will host, by the way, UCF, and that game is at 1 p.m. But again, you got a chance to get out there Sunday and check them out. But again, 9 different players have goals this season, and a few have multiple. And they're just, again, it is a treat to watch. We heard, again, Coach Winkworth came on. I described it, had him talk about it, but just the way they're playing. What they have in goalie with Pauline Nellis coming back this year, and an experienced vet, and just phenomenal. And then, what they've done defensively, the players they brought in, how they're working it, how the ball's working through the midfield. And again, with that transfer portal, Pitchfork Hunters, you guys understand, like every sport, it takes a minute with chemistry. And Grace Giller talked about that. Like it's it was a new team, but the midfield, the way they play, and yes, Ella Kettles, got to talk to her, but don't worry, I'm going to get out to practice, and we're going to talk to you're going to get players, you're going to get to meet players, the players on this team, and obviously other teams as well, Sun Devil teams, but we'll get out there. Ella Kettles in the midfield, and just the way the midfield has been playing, and then pushing the ball up front, and then having the speed on the wings. I talked about Karen Valadares. You can't coach, again, in any sport, like we always say, you can't coach height, you can't coach speed. Well, you can do things to get stronger, but some people just, wow. So that in and of itself, again, worth getting out there. But Oklahoma State tonight, let's keep the unbeaten, 7-game homestand is coming to an end, because then after that, as you guys know, like I told you, UCF is the last of 7 home games. Yeah. The last time they were on the road was August 28th. They were at UNLV. And they've been home pretty much through, they'll be home the whole month of September. But then they're at Cincinnati, at West Virginia, at Colorado. They come home for Texas Tech October 16th, and they're back on the road, Iowa State and Utah. And then they come home the 26th for TCU, and then they have to, well, it's not too bad. They have to go to Tucson to take on that team down south on October 30th. Not Thanksgiving weekend. Almost messed that one up for you guys yesterday. That was hilarious. But, Territorial Cup battle. 7 p.m. down in Tucson, October 30th. Anybody? Hey, if you want to go, we could. I'll road trip it down with you. How about that? We could always go see any ASU team beat up on that team down south. You know how I feel about that. But anyway, so see him today, see him Saturday or Sunday, because then that is about it. But so that's Big 12 play rolling on. Volleyball, guys, starting Big 12 play, like I reminded you. We're going to get more into that a little bit today, but a lot tomorrow, as again, to start with Kansas, because last year, Kansas had gotten up on them. ASU was, had a few matches. They had won at TCU, lost at Baylor, the whole cricket match. We'll talk about that later. But guys, this is big too, because like I told you, they when you look at the volleyball standings, West Virginia and BYU and West Virginia are both 12-0. So, that's non-conference. They haven't started Big 12 play yet. Yeah, Baylor's now 2-0 in conference play. TCU's 1-0. UCF is 1-1. Cincinnati's 0-1. Texas Tech is 0-1. Houston's 0-1. How can UCF be 1-1? Because they just played Baylor. That's how. That is how I am guessing. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So that's why, because UCF and Baylor just played yesterday. Baylor won in 3. But anyway, I digress. ASU opening up Big 12 play, as they are ranked 8th in the country. I want to say 8th because but just want to make sure they could have went up. You know how I feel. They definitely. Well, Nebraska went up to number 1. Texas is still at 2. Nebraska's 10-0. Texas 8-0. Stanford is 3. Stanford and Kentucky are actually. What? Well, they have them both listed at 3. I don't understand that points-wise, but it doesn't show the points. So they're tied for 3rd. Pitt's at 5. Louisville's at 6, Wisconsin at 7. Yep, Arizona State, the highest-ranked Big 12 team, is at number 8 at 9-2. Right behind them, though, is another Big 12 team, of course. TCU's at 9, and then Purdue rounds out the top 10. And then elsewhere, let's see, BYU is 14, and Kansas is 18. Baylor's 20. Utah's 23. And so that's So that's 6 of the Big 12 teams in the top 25. Like I said, Utah at 23, Baylor at 20, Kansas at 18, BYU at 14, TCU at 9, ASU at 8. So again, it'll be interesting. It shall be interesting. But the Devils, again, you take care of business, and yeah, you take care of Kansas, who is 18. Definitely want to beat them. Again, you go again. We'll talk about more tomorrow. You go in with a sweep. That's again majorly huge. Also, if you look at it, they you beat Kansas, and then you beat a K-State team that you should beat. You can go up there, and then you have a match later on with TCU, and you want these teams out of conference-wise. You want these teams to kind of keep winning, although it could be hard to leapfrog Texas and or Pitt, because if you keep winning and they keep winning, again, logically one could say, guess what? They probably don't. They're not going to be ranked above them. But anyway, a lot of volleyball. Let's just take it one start at a time. But speaking of a lot, tomorrow night, Friday Night Lights, football is taking on the Sun Devils are taking on the Horned Frogs of TCU. So 6 p.m. tomorrow night. As you know, the Devils are taking on TCU, trying to go 2-0 in the Big 12. Again, started out 1-0, beat Baylor. The walk-off field goal from the Special Teams Player of the Week, Jesus Gomez. As we saw, we will hear from Coach Regal today, and we'll also hear from offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo today as well. Yes, we will hear from both of those coaches today. But 6 p.m. the kickoff, and guys, obviously a 6 p.m. Friday night game. Traffic is going to be crazy. If you're not going to the game, traffic is still going to be very crazy. But 6 p.m. Friday game traffic, as you know, in and around the area is going to be crazy anyway. The one thing, again, with traffic that you guys have to think about is, if you're going to the game, it is at 6. That's why I said leave work early, because I can tell you this. I'm sharing this on the show for all you Pitchfork Lunchers, is that so tomorrow, by the way, if you're there, the pass slots open up at 1 p.m., which is 5 hours prior to kickoff. Kickoff at 6 p.m., right? And pay lots are open at 2:30 p.m. for fans. So again, I will remind you of this tomorrow, but I'm reminding you today. I'm going to put a tweet out even after the show to remind you Pitchfork Lunchers, you're going to the game. Pass lots open at 1 p.m. and pay lots are open at 2:30 p.m. So you can, just so you know, so you'll be able to, again, get there, give yourself more than enough time. Give yourself more than enough time to get in there or to get over there, get parked, get in Mountain America Stadium. But yes, 1 p.m. for the pass lots, 2:30 for pay lots. And again, or if you can take the light rail in, take the light rail in from either direction. There's nothing wrong with that because the light rail definitely will drop you off right there at the footsteps of Mountain America Stadium. All good to go. Don't got to deal with traffic. 6 o'clock game, and you can get back to your car after the game. So, yes, just wanted to remind everybody of that. But, yes, 1 o'clock for pass lots, 2:30 for pay lots. And, yeah, you guys are all good to go. But, yeah, so I think but this game, again, going to be absolutely awesome. Because, again, 1-0 in the Big 12. It's a great start. And it's just, schedule's going to be tough every week. It is this conference. I mean, yes, Oklahoma State is struggling, but top to bottom, you're not gonna sleep on anybody. But when we look at so I mean, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Houston, ASU, Kansas, all 1-0 in Big 12 play. Others getting ready to go. TCU, obviously, this is going to be their first Big 12 game for the Horned Frogs. They're number 24 in the country, as they are 3-0. Devils are 3-1. But yeah, and BYU's 25, and they're 3-0 too, and they have a freshman quarterback. So again, they don't take on BYU in the regular season this year, but nonetheless, the Devils, hey, let's just take care of ours. You know what? I get annoyed. I get fired up. I shouldn't say no. I get fired up because, again, the numbers just don't – the math doesn't add up, guys. And having been a math snob, as so many of my friends have told me throughout the years, because that was my favorite subject in school, and I just took to it. But being a math snob, like the numbers on the rankings just don't add up. From a simple, basic, core, logical standpoint, when you compare, it doesn't match up. But nonetheless – Devils 1-0 in the Big 12, 3-1 overall. Looking to go 2-0, 4-1. But yeah, I mean, for like I said, TCU is a team that's ASU scored 119 points this season. They've given up 82. TCU scored 125 and given up 59. They are 2-0 at home, 1-0 on the road. The Devils are obviously 2-0 at home, 1-1 now on the road. And 500 and above, you'll take it on the road. You take care of all your home games. Now, with football, there's obviously a lot less games. So, yeah, you want to do better on the road. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, you're going to be in the mix and talk of the conference. I mean, Texas Tech leads the Big 12 in points scored, 208, and they've only given up 45. Last week, they beat Utah. They crushed Utah, guys. 34-10. Now, yes, I know Utah again, different. I'm not head coach, but you're moving on. But man, to do that to Utah, whew, I mean, damn. And that was at Utah. I mean, that was at Utah. I mean, Texas Tech was up 10-3 at the half. All right, nobody scored in the third quarter. And Texas Tech just exploded in the fourth quarter, 24 points. Utah put up 7, and, that was that. But either way, Texas Tech still crushed Utah 34-10. I'm not going to sleep on Utah. They're 0-1, but, yeah, it's a little bit of a crazy road. But, yeah, Texas Tech, Iowa State, too. We'll see. They still have a good team. They're well coached. They don't those receivers from last year, they're in the NFL. But, yeah, Iowa State still at 14, because you got Texas Tech at 12, Iowa State at 14, and then TCU at 24, BYU at 25, and ASU should be in there too. Homer or not, they should be in there. But so again, don't forget tomorrow night, you can tomorrow afternoon, pass lots open at 1 p.m. Paid lots open at 2:30. And you can get there very early, get in the stadium. It's going to be packed. It's going to be loud. Friday night lights. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Devils taking on Texas Tech. And a very obviously good And we'll get to this. I mean, I'm going to take a break, but we're taking on TCU. I said Texas because I was talking about Texas. We're taking on the Horned Frogs. I mean, they beat SMU 35-24. And I mean, Josh Hoover, again, another solid quarterback. You know, I had Sawyer Robertson last week from Baylor, but he was last week alone. He was 22 of 40 for 379 yards. So percentage-wise, I mean, just a little bit over 50%. But he threw 5 touchdowns. Did have an interception, but 5 touchdowns, lit them up. Kevin Jennings for SMU, he was 24 of 38. He had 3 touchdowns, but he threw 2 picks. I mean, Hoover also, you know, rushed for 27 yards too, on top of his 379 passing. So, I mean, that's a hell of a game. Eric McAllister, the receiver, again, we'll talk about him more tomorrow. But I mean, 8 catches alone for 254. That's 31.8 a catch, and he had 3. 3 of the 5 touchdown receptions went to McAllister. So, yeah, just another big-time receiver to look out for. Jeremy Payne also got in the end zone for TCU, and Ed Small. Or no, sorry, check that. Joseph Manjack IV had the other receiving touchdown. But, yeah, no rushing touchdowns, and they did rush, like I said, for 138 yards. Trent Battle had 7 carries for 60 yards. And Jeremy Payne had 12 for 53. So just a little bit there. But, hey, I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back, when we come right back, we are going to hear from assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Charlie Regal. And then we will also hear from offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo. But, again, yeah, a lot to get to with football tomorrow night. Like I said, 6 p.m. kickoff. Get there early. You can get there early. I'll remind you again, Pitchfork Lunchers. So, yes, at 1 o'clock, pass lots, 2:30, pay lots. Or take the light rail in and just get down there early and hang out. How about that? But, yeah, we'll step aside and have more Pitchfork Lunch coming right up.
Audio Jungle.
right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratinuto at Diablo00 on X, formerly known as the Twitter. You can check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also on my IG, Michael.Caratinuto.5. The YouTube channel, which you should watch live, but also subscribe to. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. And guys, subscribe away. Because if you're watching live, you'll see this. But if you're not, you can always go back and check this out. Because again, the walk-off win for ASU at Baylor last week, Jesus Gomez just crushes the floor. I mean, you talk about a bullseye. I mean, literally like threading it. That kick was from the middle of the field, and it stayed that way, right down the middle from 43 yards, still ascending as it went through. Absolutely blasted it. Special teams player of the week. But I will say special teams, and Coach talks about it. He gets asked about it. And I was about to ask him right before the esteemed smart reporter next to me asked the same question. But Jalen Clem, that tackle, he played on special teams. And guys, if you haven't seen the highlight, I'll actually pull it up for you tomorrow. I'll bring it up tomorrow. But the play he made on special teams, if you were watching the game, if you were there, you saw it. If you were watching, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal tackle. So Coach gets into that. But yes, the kicking, the return game, all the units, just again, it's getting there. And of course, Coach, there's always things to improve on, but which is true. But man, I mean, just this is the kind of unit he's been talking about since he got here. So without further ado, here is assistant head coach and special teams coordinator Charlie Regal.
But this last, I mean, obviously about special teams, I know you talk about depth of the room, but man, this last game, I mean, yes, obviously the game-winning kick, but just all the units in general. Is this? I know you obviously envisioned it, but man, it is just deep all every unit. What are your thoughts from the game against the last game? Sorry.
Well, I think when you look at going on the road to Baylor, obviously first conference win, and a tough environment, just being the first game of conference play on the road. I think that how we played, especially talking about our field goal unit. There's some things we still got to clean up in our coverage units. We're trying to get Canyon healthy. So there's some things still there to work on for sure. But we've made some really good strides, and I think we're really close in our return game. But obviously couldn't be more proud of what Jesus did and that entire unit for our football team.
And I mean, obviously the work is the result of getting special teams player of the week. And you said it from the beginning of the season. I mean, just the work he's put in, he's been so consistent. Do you feel that anything ever rattles this kid?
Well, I just, I think what he is he's a byproduct of his preparation. And I think when you go and you prepare like he does, like, hey, when the opportunity comes, I'm ready. And so he knows he's put in the work. And, whether you make that or you miss that kick, obviously we all want him to make it. Right? Yeah. But you sleep well at night knowing that he's prepared the absolute best way possible. And so because of that, the results speak for themselves, but two, as a coach, you couldn't ask any more from a player, and just certainly pleased that he's here kicking with us now.
And I mean, like you said, getting Canyon healthy, but I mean, Mackenzie, obviously you brought him in for a reason. He's doing pretty good. What do you thought of his performance so far?
Yeah, Maddie's come in and he's done well. He had a punt for us at Baylor, which was a nice punt, and put him inside the 20-yard line. I think it was like the 15-yard line. Again, and that's kind of been the message we preached in the room this year. When you get called upon, you've got to answer. And he's done that, and I'm certainly pleased with his progression as well.
What did you make of Jalen Clem's tackle there on special teams?
Yeah, honestly, I told the guys that was obviously what Jesus did was awesome, but Clem's was the unsung play of the game, and there's a whole story behind that. He'd gotten crushed a couple weeks earlier on field goal, and I pulled him aside, and I can't say exactly what I said to him, but I had some choice words for him, and I said, man, I know who your dad is. I know how you were raised. You don't play that way. And he came back, and he answered the bell on field goal, and then I made him stand up and tell the team what I told him 2 weeks ago. And I said, because that's what I believed in him, and that's just a guy that I believe in and kind of exemplifies who our football team is tough, hard-nosed guys that when they're called upon, they'll do their job. And that'll get overlooked by most people, most fans. But if you're you truly pay attention to the little things in special teams, which most people don't. But that was a hell of a play by him.
Well, we'll say in the broadcast, I mean, they showed that replay probably 7-8 times.
It was a heck of a hit.
Yeah,
it was a heck of a hit.
question is, you've had a lot of expectations with Jesus, and now you get to finally see it with that game-winning walk-off kick. Just how did that make you feel now?
You know, we've gone through a lot, you know, in the last year with our field goal team, and it was just nice to sit there on the sideline. I knew going into that final kick he was going to make it. There was not, honest, I was the calmest I've ever been in a football game. I just knew he was going to make it, and it's just a really good feeling. People probably don't appreciate it as much as I do, but you know, again, I think that all goes back to his preparation, and when you prepare like he does, it's hard not to feel good about when he steps on the field.
And then you mentioned the return game. I mean, obviously kick and punt return. I mean, I know Relik's been out there, some other guys. Just what are your thoughts of where they're at? Where they're at as a unit?
We're getting close. We're getting close. We're close to doing some big things in the return game.
We need juice.
We're really close. I mean, you look at Jaron and kickoff returns and Relik and punt returns. Those guys are right at the cusp, and we talked about this morning in some of our meetings, and we've got to go do it, you know, there's no doubt about that, but I feel good the progress we made and where we're at.
What's it like managing all those personalities? You've had a few walk by just
Yeah, well, I think, you know, it takes one to know one, right? So, you know, I think, you know, just living in this world my entire life, playing sports, you know, all the way up through college, and then coaching for as long as I have. That's what it is. That's what makes the brotherhood special, is there is so many different personalities, and you know, I think the common ground is right here. It's people, you know, and you find what makes people tick, and if you're a good coach, you reach into people's souls and you're able to connect, and then once you do that, those guys will do whatever you want.
And then how is Kenny grown in that?
I mean, I just think that, you know, obviously as the more, you know, just like anything, the more reps you get better. And as he grows and is presented with different circumstances as a head coach, you have to figure those out. He's obviously a very sharp young man. He would not be in the role of head coach if he wasn't. And, you know, but, you know, just because you get the title doesn't mean you're fully qualified, whoever you are. I mean, you get presented with new opportunities at 49 years old. There's things that I've seen this year that I haven't seen in my career. You know what I mean? So you're learning and growing every day, and he continues to do that at a high level, and that's why we continue to have the success that we've had.
Have you seen Kenny grow since you first talked to him?
Oh man, I mean, you're talking back from when he was a teenager, or I mean, that's man, I don't know how much space you got on that phone to. You know, I mean, that's just, you know, I mean, that's the growth of life, right? You know, from a young man who, you know, had, you know, stars in his eyes, trying to figure out what he wanted to do and what he wanted to be, ultimately deciding to go down the coaching path, to you know, going through the rigmarole of being a GA and you know, the coming up. You know, there's a ton of growth in that. That's a long question and a longer answer, but I think at the end of the day, when you look at it, his growth is just, like I said, it's been a continuous process from, you know, since I've known him, 15, 16 years old, to where he's at now, and that won't stop anytime soon.
When complementary football, I know we talked about it a lot last year. Coach would bring it up, you know, offense, defense, but special teams. And Coach, you mentioned on Monday that there's been times, you know, that, like, you know, offense got off the field too quick, but the defense picked him up, or the defense, their play offense came right back out. And now special teams, when you were started to talk about obviously the team last year, but envisioning complementary football, I mean, is this what you see? Because so far this year, I mean, it seems like everybody's been holding their weight.
It's a part of it. You know, it's certainly a part of it. Again, you know, we've got to make sure that we've got to eliminate some of the stuff in the return game, you know, so that we give our defense better field. But we flipped quite a few fields this early in the season, so we have helped them out. But we need to continue to do that at a very high level. I think the ability to score with the field goal team from almost, you know, anytime we cross, you know, the 40, that's a pretty hefty advantage for our offense. And then once we can get this return game cooking and help the offense even start with better field position, I think then we'll have come full circle to putting our piece out completely.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Awesome.
Can't say enough good things about Derek. It's the reason he's on the team. It's the reason we're on scholarship. It's the reason he's able to make those plays. He's consistent. You know, there's certain roles that certain guys have. He accepts his. He dominates his role. And he got an opportunity. He was in the plan a little bit last week, right there at the end, and I decided to use it, pull it out, and it paid off. And he did an awesome job. And so it was awesome to count on him, and Sam counted on him, and it was really good to see. So he's awesome.
How do you feel the passing game in the second half was
probably the best of before. I know from the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it was a good transition from being able to get ourselves back, our feet back on the ground, running the ball, and maybe able to transition to some passing game stuff, whether it was going to be a play action game, whether it was going to be some screen game, or just some drop back, control passing. And that piece comes the slowest of all offenses and all young players and all systems is the drop back passing. And you got to be able to push forward and push through and not beat yourself up too bad about it, and continue to find little ways to get in rhythm and get the quarterback confident and work some things and work the protections and get guys rolling. So that was good to see, especially in the last 2-minute drive, to be able to finish it. And what a clean way to finish a game in regards to a game that we need on the road. It was really hard and a really good team. And so there's a lot that's going to come from that 2-minute drive.
Coach Dillingham talked at length about, not length, but about how much of a game changer Bud Clark is, about how good he is at disguising different coverages and whatnot. How much of a challenge is it to prepare for a true X factor like that?
Yeah, no, they do a great job. I mean, I've worked with Andy for 3 years now, the last place in some championship teams and Rose Bowl teams and on, and they do a great job. He's got one of the guys working is also working at the secondary, and so they communicate really well. They'll do a fantastic job. Their disguises and their movements, them creating their matchups and angles, they do a really fantastic job. We got our hands full with these guys. So we got to do a good job with our eyes, good job locating guys, good job communicating that post snap late, because they do an awesome job. That's their whole key, and it'll be a good test.
What does that add to the chess match when it's like somebody that you're going against that you know so well?
We're being this old now. It's hard not to find guys you haven't played. I wish it was not that case, but no, it'd be cool. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We've all changed a little bit. It's part of the nature of it. It's just fun to see guys that you've worked with or that you got a lot of respect for, and to go up against other guys. I mean, Trey, with our corners coach, was on my staff when I was head coach, and it's just, I know his wife, I know his kid. It's like, it's cool to know Andy's kids, and it's just we cut a lot of bread together and had a lot of dark hours together at certain places. So it's really cool to go up against and to be competing against guys and have a lot of respect for.
Yesterday, Levitt talked about how he doesn't want to move forward and scramble as much as he did against Baylor. How much do you try and balance having that extra dimension of the offense with the scrambling while also keeping him healthy and making sure he's getting the pocket?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough with a guy he's going to say that, but when the light's on, that's kind of what Sam does at times. I mean, obviously, if he had your way, you want to be back there, sit clean, and work through rhythm and play ball, and not have things present themselves that his innate ability says, I'm going to go. Because really, sometimes when he goes, he's just going because it's an innate ability. So he sees something, he just goes. The rest of it should be still going on. So yeah, our design isn't for him to go out and be the workhorse and cowbell to run the football or scrambling around. Those present itself, and when it does, we're usually pretty productive. I mean, it is a reason it's one of the primary, calculators on some of the things that you look for quarterbacks. Can they extend plays? They can create plays on their own. But yeah, he's got to do a good job of getting down and taking care of himself. And if it doesn't have to go to that, it shouldn't go to that. So
building off of the run game, just how much of an impact is Tyson coming back in a full role going to have for the entire offense? For relief for Sam, for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Sip's a big part of our group. He's been around us. He knows the language. He's been out a few weeks with an ankle, but to have him back in the role is going to be really, really good. It's going to be good for just the ability for the whole group to be able to take a big deep breath, take some load off, and the veteranship in him here in offense. And I think he wants to get back out there. He's a good spark for us, a good catalyst that we need, and hopefully get injected back in this week.
What have you thought about how you got in short yardage and goal line situations?
Yeah, I mean, right now in short yardage situations, we're trying to find ourselves a little bit. I think we got to figure that out. We're trying to do some things that, in regards to maybe what we've done in our offense, maybe look at who we are a little bit more, and be creative in that regard. Sometimes you want to go ahead and do things that are identity type of runs. Sometimes you got to be able to put guys in spots now that you're saying, okay, maybe we got to do this with this guy. Maybe this is that. Maybe this is the role. And so we're going to play with that. You got to do a good job in those situations. Those are critical downs. We've done a really good job in the past in those situations. Now it's finding out, okay, who is this group and what can we do to do that? I can be more aggressive. I can get a little more creative on maybe some stuff we're doing without getting outside of the framework of it was 3rd and 1, still 3rd.
And perimeter blocking was such a strength last year with Belquan and Anderson. You guys are working on that. Yeah. Kenny said, how's that coming
Huge part of our offense because we play from sideline to sideline with the screen game, the perimeter game. Quan and X are such veteran guys in the role they had last year, not going back last year, but you still got new guys now who are now getting that look and what it's supposed to be like on a Saturday and a game day and how that feels. And so you've got to grow to do that. It's not, we're going to work your tail off in practice. We've obviously magnified the work in practice on it, but there's been some huge plays this year that have come back that have cost us throughout all the games. And so we're going to do a better job coaching. It's my job to coach better. And then to keep working, not just give up on it, find ways to be able to work on your job, work on your details of your job, and take ownership of it. And it's a big part of our offense, not going to change.
TCU blitzes at one of the highest rates in the country. How are you going to try and combat that Friday night?
Try to tell him not to. I'm going to give Andy a call and tell him to stop it. No, they do a good job. We've got to be able to protect him and see him. One of the questions earlier was they do such a good job disguising their looks, changing their fronts, stemming, moving. You got to do a good job with these guys with your eyes because they're going to come at the snap from different spots and different angles. So you got to do a job with protections. You got to know the launch point where the quarterback's at. You got to know the timing and when it's going to get out. We just got to we're going to have a real big task up front to be able to move on some of these angles, which is a good one.
Well, there you go. Special teams assistant head coach, special teams coordinator Charlie Regal, and offensive coordinator, you heard him there, Marcus Arroyo. And yeah, to go, sum up obviously what Coach Regal was talking about. Kenyon Floyd's been a little banged up. Obviously, he's still holding because that is such an intricate part. And not that Matt McKenzie can't hold because he's been holding in practice too. But again, you get on the page, But kicking wise, they're working them back. So, and then the bye week coming up again. It's a big game against TCU. He's been out, but if we look at, just the injury portal one, TCU, you talk about, and these players are out, not even probable. So there's the Horned Frogs have $19 players that are out. Javorian Barnes, a running back, one of the running backs, and he didn't play last week either. He's out. Jordy Bailey, a wide receiver's out. You got 2 edge rushers out. One of their safeties is out. Braylon James, a receiver's out. Keelan Abrams, the linebacker's out. Avery Helm, corner's out. Kyle Lemmerman, place kicker's out. And Caleb Sempebwa, kicker, another place kicker's out. But for the Devils, Xavier Alfred out. Albert Smith, I missed this the other day. I was asking somebody, and his name was right there. I went right over it. But Alfred and Albert Smith III are out. So is Montana Warren. Cam Dyer is out. Jalen Moss still out. Plaz Johnson. Dolis Toloma, offensive lineman's out. So is Brent Heldon. And then Shaden Fortier, tight end, and Michael Gardner is out. Probables, Miles Rouser, Ghost Rouser. But I know I put up something the other day. So I'm talking about him. But he's limited in practice. But yeah, Rouser's probable. Kamari Anderson, the tight end. Same thing with Kenyon Floyd. I also have Jesus Gomez there. That's probable. Joey Sua, Zechariah Sample. He's been working his way back too, so we'll see if he is suited up. And then Zach Swanson, who's been who's working his way back. Always love seeing that. And then CJ Fight, probable as well. So Yeah, so that was the injury reports there. Um, um, so yeah, I mean, it's so yeah, the Big 12 change out this year. I know I touched on it before the first show, or during the first, or after the first show, just talking about it. So yeah, I mean, it's um, I mean, it's part of the game, and prep wise, you got to see it. And I just think, again, and more so, it's I know to protect the players of anything, because sometimes you didn't have to say anything, like, oh, we're just not going to report, we're going to make them get ready, and then, but either way, so yeah, so that is the injury report. But yeah, I mean, look, what Coach Reagan was saying again, I mean, the return game, you got to get it going, be consistent. But yeah, that is one part. I mean, Malik Brown, we see what he can do. Jaron Hamilton, like Coach mentioned, his speed is. I mean, they nicknamed him Turbo. Coach Hinesworth had something funny because I'm calling him by his government name until I see. No, but he goes, he's great kid, and Hinesworth was talking about that yesterday. So yeah, I mean, it's just very awesome to see, what they can do in the return game. And there's always guys rotating back there, pitchfork lunchers. Don't be surprised in punt. Depends on time of the game. If we see that's just saying. If you see it, there could be some mixing it up back there. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of speed. And we'll see who gets going. But yeah, I mean, that play by Joe and Clem, again, I'll show you the highlight tomorrow. If you haven't seen it, you can go look for it. You can go check it out. But I'll do the work for you. But yeah, I mean, like Coach said, that was that hit, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, watching it live, just seeing it, seeing the replay so many times, just absolutely awesome. So yeah, and then Coach Arroyo, I mean, the Derek Eusebio, like I said, so stoked for this young man. Again, they're all working hard, but I mean, the guy that was a walk on, and Coach Hinesworth was asked about this yesterday too. And again, I thought he was just about to wrap, so I'm like, oh, it's probably the last question, because I had got over to his scrum a little bit late, and then it went longer, and I was like, well, I guess I could have recorded it. But he was just saying, how Derek, came in, and I think guys are what, he worked, and he kept sticking out. He kept, making the catches no matter what, like ball's thrown his way, catch, making the catch, and as a receiver, and then but doing the stuff also downfield, blocking, and I'll tell you something funny tomorrow about what Hines said about receivers and blocking. Obviously, he's probably the best to ever do it at the NFL level, but but for Derek, I mean, just like, working hard and, constantly catching the ball, making plays, sticking out, no matter when he got out there, just, making plays. So it's definitely, good. It's great to see him rewarded. I mean, the 2 catches, and I mean, the 60-yarder, and then even like the jet sweep. Coach mentioned that. It's like, yeah, we've probably been in practice with him all week, but we did it before. You trust him, and so he's keeps working, and he's gonna obviously get the ball and make those plays. So stoked for him and the Devils. We'll finish the preview. I'll finish the preview tomorrow. It is a blackout tomorrow, guys. So I know I mentioned it. Blackout. Also, don't forget, pass lots open up at 1 p.m. Pay lots 2:30 p.m. Get there early. It is a 6 o'clock kickoff. Traffic is going to be it's a Friday, so of course traffic is going to be insane. Not that traffic isn't insane on Saturdays, but most people aren't leaving work and all that great stuff. So that being said, 1 o'clock for the pass lots, 2:30. It's a blackout. Wear black. Of course, with the the maroon and gold in there, but we're black, and get there early, be loud, and just make it insanely difficult. Let's get procedure penalties on TCU, guys. Let's do that. Let's get procedural penalties on TCU, and a lot of them. So that's all I'm going to say. Soccer tonight. Don't forget, 7 o'clock at Sun Devil Soccer Stadium. And hey, before we go, like I said, there are 9 different goal scorers. Oh, 10 now. There's 10 different goal scorers. Yep. Tatum Thomason leading the team with 5. Cameron Valladares has 3 goals. Well, she's tied for second with Addison Baltodano, who she assisted on her goal against BYU. And also Sierra Bergen has 3. So they are tied for second with 3. And then we have quite a few with 2 goals. And Peyton Marcis, Izzy Monick have 2. And then Miki Hayashi has 1, as does Adriel Mybe. Ava Wright has 1. Lucy Fass has 1. So, yeah, 10 different players have scored. And like I said, Thomason, again, the local kid transferring back, she leads the team with 5, has 3 assists. Cam Valladares has 3 goals, like I said, but she leads the team with 7 assists. So scoring early is her MO. Will we see that tonight? I hope so. Or whether it's Tatum or Addison, Sierra, and we'll see how much more we see Kiera Blundell, who's back in the lineup. Very awesome. Yeah, Coach Winkworth talked about that last Friday. So she's back from injury, but working her back, and we'll see if the minutes expand a little bit more tonight. But again, 7 p.m. Sun Devil Soccer Stadium. Get on out there, because you also want to see Pauline Nellis, a phenomenal goalie who's started all 9 games. Obviously, 794 minutes, has only allowed 5 goals. She has 29 saves, 8 wins, no losses, the 1 draw, and 4 shutouts. Of the 9 games, she's got 4 shutouts. When you're just about at 50%, you'll take it. You will take it. If they were to somehow work and get it, if she's able to get a clean sheet tonight, that would be 5. That'd be 50% of the games would be shutouts. So, but guys, 7 p.m. Get on out there. I'm just telling you, if you don't, if you haven't seen a play again, like I gotta agree with what Faz said. Like, if you can't, I mean, they haven't lost. What else, do you need? Get on out there, get loud. We saw the energy last week against BYU, and yes, there was BYU fans. There was a lot more Sun Devil fans. They came out because they knew. But yeah, be absolutely awesome. So come check it out and go from there. But 7 p.m. Sun Devil Soccer Stadium, you will not be disappointed. So, but yes, I will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll review soccer. Maybe we'll have a guest from soccer. Who knows? We'll try and see if we can do it again. We'll review soccer, obviously volleyball and football. Bam, blackout for football. Pass lots open at 1 and pay lots open at 2:30. My pitchfork muncher. So again, get on out there as we want to be loud and go absolutely crazy. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your Thirsty Thursday. I hope I quench a lot of that Sun Devil thirst for you. But if not, hey, guess what? We can finish it up tomorrow. No worries. So I will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel, as you guys know. And yes, thanks to Women Rating Big 12 Champs Women's Volleyball. It is #OurState. And just so that school down south realizes that, it is our state. Right here, you see it. Yeah, go Devils. And as always, you guys know it. I will see you tomorrow. But as always, forks out.
I went to Arizona State.
Right.
I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Two play fake. Funnel will put it up. Throws over the middle. Pull. Touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure.
Chuck this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Today. This one the other way. No going back. That's the drag. Locks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.